Well, conference season is around the corner, and conference season in the in the UK political sphere is very much a time where the leaders of the political party will come together with their members, announce what policies they're going to do, say what they've done well, praise people that have done well or done things good, and essentially put the party in a really good light and set the direction for the party, at least for the next year or so to come. And that is the importance of the party conference itself, to go, this is this is the Labour Party, this is what we do, this is what we've done, this is what we're going to strive to do, and so on and so on. And these are very, very much quite important, shall we say, political events in the UK political calendar. And I'm very, very, very tempted to see, although I think I've left it a bit too late now, to go over to Brighton, see if I can at least get there and go there. And like I say, if I ever did get that opportunity, I would go and I would live stream everything. I'd take this thing, and get on my phone, everything, to try and get sorted out with bringing you good coverage of a party political conference and show you what it's all really about. And I think that would be a fantastic atmosphere to do a live stream from. But what I'm really worried about, of course, is the potential of what can happen at some of these parties, because not only are we hearing rumbles that Johnson might not be challenged for leadership at his party conference, but he will almost certainly, shall we say, be certain very loud voices, shall we say, venting their disapproval at Johnson's current leadership and the direction that he's taking the party, compared to the Labour conference, where at this very moment in time, there is an uncertain potential challenge to Keir Starmer's leadership. And that can pose some very, very problematic outcomes, especially going forward into the next general election. So before we do get into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do support the channel that way. So, if there really is to be a leadership challenge, the question is, as always, is who does it? Who's the candidate? Who stands up? Now, a lot of people have been voicing around Angela Rayner, who is the deputy leader of the Labour Party, and like Keir Starmer, she has been doing a lot of good stuff in the background and really holding the Tories really hard and feet to the fire when it comes to the corruption. Unfortunately, again, because she's not the leader in this case, she hasn't had a lot of media coverage, so this might be the first time you're sort of hearing about this, but she has done some very good work in that area. So it is sort of natural that she is being put forward as being the better, shall we say, person than Starmer. But my own personal feelings on this are basically this. Sometimes you've just got to make do with what you've been got, because at the moment there is a very unsure motion as to whether the Tories will or not get rid of the Fixed Term Parliament Act. If they do that, then the power to call a general election goes from Parliament's hands of having to have at least a majority call for an election to basically in the hands of the Prime Minister. So at any point he could ever wish, obviously within the time limit of his term, he could call a general election wherever he wanted. And as we've said before, there is a potential. If they don't get rid of it, then we're looking at least the next one being 3 years away. And 3 years political time is not a long time, but we have to start getting ready for it regardless. The other thing is, if Johnson decides to then call a snap general election after he gets rid of the Fixed Term Parliament Act, it could mean that the general election is a year, 6 months, 2 years away. We don't know. And of course, the advantage of this is that having that fixed term Parliament Act is that Johnson cannot call um, the election when it is most advantageous to him. For example, when he had all this massive approval rating. Imagine if Johnson had called a general election then. I mean, he could have. It would have been within the rules. He'd have been allowed to do it. And of course, that would have been very, very worrying. But we've got a couple of really big things coming up. We're seeing more and more stuff coming about the coronavirus contracts, thanks to the Good Law Project, which are heavily embarrassing the Tories and showing that there is a lot of corruption going on in our current government. We've also got the fallout of Brexit still going on, and this is still not going to go well. We've also got the coronavirus inquiry, to which, when that reports back, will not cast the Tories in a very good light. So at any point, Johnson must, if he gets rid of the Fixed Term Parliament Act, Johnson must call a general election at least before one of those things is reported and starts to kick in. Because if so, that will heavily damage the Tories and get at least maybe the Lib Dems favour to, of course, take more seats in the south, which you have seen through the Cheshire and Amersham by-election, as well as that local council election that happened, by-election down there happened as well, that also went to a Lib Dem as well, which has also got them incredibly worried. As we've always said, Johnson is currently walking a very tight tightrope where he's trying to appeal to the southern MPs and to the northern MPs as well. And if he leans one towards the other, then, you know, he loses support from them. So he's walking that very, very tight tightrope on that. So if we go into a conference season and there is a leadership challenge, well, then Starmer's going to have to see it off. But of course, it depends on who that candidate is. Lots of people are putting forward Andy Burnham. And as I've said before, while I think Andy Burnham would make a good potential future Labour Party leader, not at the moment. Let him finish doing what he's doing in Manchester. Let him build that political legacy. Let him have that legacy so that when he does go forward as a future Prime Minister, he can say, look at all this fantastic work I did as the leader of Manchester. If he abandons Manchester too quick, then there is a chance that all the fantastic and good work that he's doing could go to pot. And we do not want that. We do not want that to happen, especially for someone who could be a future leader of the party. So for the moment, let Andy stay where he is. Let him decide when he wants to be Prime Minister. At the moment, he's fine in Manchester and he's doing a fantastic job. Let him stay where he is. But what we do not want is someone replaces Starmer, then, you know, dissatisfied voices, push them out, and we have almost a literally revolving door of leaders potentially for the next 2 years. We cannot have that. The Labour Party at the moment needs some very serious stability, but it also needs some very serious soul searching. This is why I'm really worried the fact that it does appear that Starmer does appear to be heavily relying on Deborah Morgan, who is solidly obsessed with the idea that she can win back the disenfranchised Labour voters who went and voted Tory, when that won't really work too much, because all she's essentially doing is trying to push the party more to the right. That won't work. Being a lighter version of the Tory party will not work. It will not win you votes because that already exists. They're called the Lib Dems. Let them do that. You know, the Labour Party should be the Labour Party. And yes, there are now more big tent of the Labour Party than ever before. And I think trying to strike a happy medium is incredibly hard. Let's not lie about that fact. But Starmer, I think, as much as, again, I have my problems with him, I definitely think he needs policy out there to say, this is what the Labour Party stands for, needs to be going forward. It needs to be his number one agenda going into conference season, of setting out, this is what the policy are. This is how, if Labour were in charge, this is what we would do to help Britain recover. These are the policies that we would do if we were in charge. These are what we are going to do when we are in charge. And that should be Starmer's mission. So, with that said, thank you very much you all for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button as you're on your way out. And of course, please do remember to visit my Patreon page down below and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.